Red 2 generic instant. Deals 4 damage to target creature or player. So it can hit anybody in the face. Unless they pay 2. And if they pay 2, it's only going to deal 2 damage to that creature or player instead. I actually used to pay this damn thing. So I guess if you play Rhystic Lightning... It's funny, if I ever say the word Rhystic, just internally, I want to say study. But there's a lot more Rhystic cards out there than that. The Rhystic Lightning. Do you pay the 2? Do you pay the 2? If you don't pay the 2, or you take an extra 2. That's how it worked. That's how it worked back then. Okay, Erland. How are you going to start that? Weird win con with Celestial Convergence. It's a rare. Back then, this set was very underwhelming at the time. Like, super underwhelming. It's funny. They just had a set the Urza block was super overpowered, so like, all right, to balance things out, it's like they had their fire design, so they like watered everything down to here in this block. Celestial Convergence, a white 2 generic enchantment, comes into play with 7 omen counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, remove an omen counter from Celestial Convergence. If there are no omen counters on Celestial Convergence, the player with the highest life total wins the game. Is that it? So it's like a battle of who has more life? If 2 or more players are tied for the highest life total, the game is a draw. Yeah, vote deeply, says Steve Cooper. Vote for high life totals. That's all I can say. Okay, rated. Okay, and actually, let's get back to this card. This card is jank. We're rating cards today. So jank. Very jank card. Rated Lex, what do you got for us today? The card foil, but only if it's a foiled foil. This is a great card. We're doing Prophecy, so we gotta look at the old Prophecy art, which I can't say is very exciting in my opinion. Blue 2 generic, instant. You may discard an island and another card from your hand instead of paying for foil's mana cost. Counter target spell. This was like, I don't even want to say it was budget Force of Will at the time. I had Force of Will back then was like $1. It was like $2 Canadian. It was so cheap to own a Force of Will. But if you wanted more Force of Wills in your deck, well, you had to look at foil because that was the best way to do it. It did combo with, what's it called? Comboed with Gush, which was also in this block from Mercadian Mass. So you play your Gush, put your islands back into your hand. You drew two cards, foil after that. Boom. It basically was a sort of a makeshift sort of Force of Will at the time. Yeah, foiled again. They should have had some flavor text that had something that said something about foil. Did they do that with the new card? I did. Among Wizards, poor timing is the most consistent mistake. That failed opportunity, in my opinion. This card used to see play in Pauper. I don't think it sees as much play because they did ban Gush, but this thing is still not too bad. It is one of the better cards, I think, in this set. You don't think it's worth it? All right, then, you know what? Bandit said it wasn't worth it. We're not gonna say it's worth it. Maybe I'm biased. I'm the blue player around here. Gush and foil sounds real fun. It was legal in Pauper for quite a while. That was insane. Okay, who did we not? Toads. Overburden. Overburden is a blue 1 generic enchantment. Whenever a player puts a creature card into play, that player returns a land he or she controls to its owner's hand. Wow, that is not a fun card to play against at all. Unless you want to bring the card, unless you want to put your lands back to your hand, so you get some, I don't know, ETB out of it or something. Whenever a player puts a creature card into play, the player returns a land he or she controls to their owner's hand. But what if they don't have lands? This gotta be, like, pretty good. It's 2 mana. I don't know who wants to play this thing. It looks very frustrating to play against. Probably is a budget stack staple. Overburden is the blue landfall thing. Oh, it's good for the landfall decks. That's right. If you just want to put a random land in play to activate landfall, then it's a great card. So it's nasty for the people who don't have landfall, and it's a great value for the players that do. Oh, it's $9. All right, so, you can't see. Can I shrink myself? Just want to show you it's $9. So it was good stuff. Someone else believes in this card as well. So Easy pass. Would be banned in all formats if printed today. No. It's not. In one-on-one, you would need a very... It's like... It's good for like a really slow, clunky deck, in my opinion. It's not really that big of a deal. Okay, Larry with Search for Survivor. We got red 2 generic sorcery. Shuffle your graveyard. An opponent chooses a card from random. Or chooses a card from it at random. If that card is a creature card, put it onto the battlefield. Otherwise, remove it from the game. This is just gambling jank. It's gambling, it's jank. You're not guaranteed to get anything. Well, I mean, I guess if you have one card in your graveyard and it's a creature, I guess it works. So it's not that bad. But they got, like, if someone, like, wastelands you in response, I mean, there's, like, a 50-50 chance this doesn't work out. I think this is a little too janky. You gotta set the situation up just right to make it, to pull it off. Okay, Liquid Sulfide with Abolish. Yeah, it's wild. There was a bunch of free spells in this set for what was considered a crappy set at the time. But now it's just full of a bunch of golden gems for the commander players. We have a white 1 generic instant. You may discard a plains card rather than pay Abolish's mana cost. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. Beautiful. We got Force of Will for disenchant. I think this is a good card. I think it's underrated. I mean, in this world, you gotta play as much. I mean, it's no Force of Vigor, okay? But it's good enough for the people who are playing white, not playing green. You know what? We can't all have Force of Vigor out there. We all can't have one. Next super chat we have from Steve Cooper. Wingstorm. Screw players who uses flying the card. Green 2 generic sorcery deals X damage to each player, where X is twice the number of creatures with flying that player controls. That's gotta be really situational, Steve. Like, uses flying. Like, they need to have like 1,000,000 flyers out. I would feel really bad, though, if I was the person with, I don't know, a bunch of angels or dragons, so I have a bunch of flyers, and all of a sudden I die to Wingstorm. Like, really? Wingstorm? That's how you're finishing me off? What are the odds? This is like this is an achievement unlocked type of card. It's twice the number, so anyway. Really, really narrow. Very, very narrow card. I don't know how many flyers are out there these days. Like flying like a common mechanic in Commander. Yeah, you play angels because I cause category 4 hurricane. That's exactly what the Wingstorm gonna do. I mean, okay, in the right metagame, I guess it's fine. Someone could be like, what are you playing Wingstorm for? Well, you play angels, you play Stormcrow, and you play dragons, so you forced me to play Wingstorm. Alright, you forced me. At the end, you took damage from your Bitter Blossom, and now you'll take damage from the fairies. You're gonna feel the pain. Okay, let's look at John's Root Cage. The Busted Mercenary never had a chance. So we have a green 1 generic enchantment. Mercenaries don't untap during their controller's untap steps. Mercenaries weren't even good at the time. Like, the creature type back then was rebels. They should have had more rebels hate. The mercenaries were just the crappy rebels, and they hated on them. They hated on the mercenaries for no reason whatsoever. It's good, but it's very narrow. Very, very narrow. It'll be good versus the I can't even remember how the mercenaries worked. I think it was like, I think it also tutored for things, but it tutored for less than the mana that you spent. That's what made it worse. Also oh! Do we give it a pass for being anti-changeling tech? And hey, that's a mercenary. And it ain't untapping now. Would this stop Mutavault working? No, because Mutavault would turn back into a land at end of turn, and it would untap as usual. Hilarious stuff. Next super chat from Platonic Liquid. Joe Rael. Joe Rael, Empress of Beasts and Brotherhood's End. How on earth is this? You said Empress of Beasts. What is the original set? This is, oh, it is from Prophecy. Okay, so it's from Props. I don't know. Brotherhood's Ends. That's the sweeper for like three mana. That's red. Oh, we have a green 3 generic 3/3. This honestly is the name is as if they printed this today. They gave them these long, elaborate names. They got the comma in there and everything, just like a true commander. Anyway, it is a human spell shaper legendary creature. 3/3, pay a green 2 generic. Tap, discard 2 cards from your hand. Until end of turn, all lands target player controls are 3/3 creatures and are still lands. And you wanted to wipe them all away with Brotherhood's End, which deals 3 damage to all creatures, especially your opponent's creatures that are now lands. Discard 2 cards from your hand until end of turn, all lands target player controls. It's funny, they designed this card to hate on your opponent's lands. Like, it has no purpose except to maybe blow them all up. Okay, I'm going to turn all your lands into creatures, and I'm going to wipe them off the board like a Wrath of God or something. That's the only purpose. And they even gave it a super high casting cost, because you can't even target yourself. Oh no, it's target player? Okay, you can target yourself. Forget it. You can make an army out of your creatures. Okay, forget it. I'm wrong. I need no army. I have Femura? Can't read this. Okay, oh no, we got one from you, John. Let's do Christopher B. He's here every day. Rhystic Shield. But will it really shield you? It's a white 1 generic instant. Creatures you control get +0/+1 until end of turn. They get an additional +0/+2 until end of turn, unless any player pays 2. Oh, and by the way, if it wasn't clear, I give that one a pass. And this is crap. I think this is garbage. This is draft chaff. It's to the highest degree I've ever seen. Alright, this is where Avatar Woe comes from. Excellent suggestion, your mama's llama. Avatar of Woe. The Avatar cycle. It is an avatar. Are these the first, like, avatars in existence? Black 6 generic 6/5 creature. If there are 10 or more creature cards in total in all graveyards, the spell costs 6 less to cast, so it can cost double black. It's got fear, which means it can't be blocked except by artifacts, because artifacts have no fear, apparently, and or black creatures. Also, tap, destroy target creature. It can't be regenerated. It's a super royal assassin here to spank you. It's not bad, actually. I like it. A Rhystic Shield gets my vote for one of the worst piles of ish. There we go. But is it as bad as foil? When you say Avatar Woe, you have to say Woe like Joey from Blossom. Avatar Woey? The Avatar Woey. It's cute. Will Anderson with Alexi's Cloak. It's a blue 1 generic aura. You may play Alexi's Cloak anytime you could play an instant. That was unique, I think, at the time. Enchanted creature can't be targeted by targeted spells or abilities. This is great. This is actually pretty good. This is like a counter spell. This is like a counter spell to removal, but then it's permanent. But the only problem is it gives it Shroud. So just make sure that you have no intention of targeting your own thing, because you can't target your own stuff with Shroud. Hexproof was broken. That was a big mistake. Hexproof. Nobody likes. Does anyone like Hexproof? Probably you guys like Hexproof. Competitive players do not like Hexproof. It's like, this should have just been Shroud. Shroud for forever. But it's a little feel bad, I understand. Just trying to think, if you give something Shroud, yeah, it can stay on there. Anyway, I think this is a cool card. This is very underrated. It is not bad, just like Gilliam says. Next super chat coming from Abe. Welcome, good morning. One of the worst lands ever, the Rhystic Cave. Can I please tap this for mana? Anybody? Can I please tap this for mana? It's a land. Tap, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool unless any player pays 1. Does anyone pay the 1? I guess like it's so weird for this thing to go on the stack. Like, it has to go on the stack first before you can confirm that you are going to cast a spell, because like you don't want to play. If it doesn't resolve, then you get nothing. Or like you're gonna be 1 short from what you really want to play. You're gonna start off by tapping the Rhystic Cave. What's funny is it's 30 cents. It should be worthless. So somebody found some use for this card, unless they're like really Really eager to ask everyone to pay the one every single turn of every single moment of their gaming career. Anyway, hard pass on that one. Is Spore Frog from here? From Iris? Oh, it's got its OG origins from Prophecy. It actually makes sense. Green 1/1 Frog. Sacrifice Spore Frog. Prevent all combat damage that be dealt this turn. It's funny. Cards like this, cherished by the Commander players. And the competitive players just cringe at these cards. Like, this is just... Again, it's not worthless draft chaff, because you can attack with this one. You can get in the red zone. You can even do a little bit of blocking duty if you really need to. The end of one's life is merely the beginning of 1,000 more. Frog will be back. That's what it's trying to tell you. PM. Spike Tail Hatchling. I'll give it a pass. I think there are ways of looping the Spore Frog that actually make it playable today. Let's look at the hatchling here. That's right, Turbo Fog. I've been beaten down many a time by a Turbo Fog deck. We have a blue 1 generic 1/1. Where's the Prophecy version? There we go. It has flying. And sacrifice Spiketail Hatchling. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 1. I love it. You have like days on a stick over here. And if you can make use of just random blue creatures on the battlefield, I also think it's good. See, this is like... Now, the crappy thing is, like, it's a daze everyone sees on the battlefield. Also, it's not like anyone wants to play into this. This isn't a good creature. It's a 1/1. It's like, isn't it like Stormcrow power level? Basically, based on power and toughness and casting cost. So it's not like they want to exchange their fresh card in hand for this damn thing. Will Anderson with Verdant Field. Has insane combo potential. So you're telling me this card has been around for 20 years and people haven't figured out how to like break it? So we have a green 2 generic enchant land. Enchant land has tap. Target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. I don't think there's any potential. I mean, the potential is if you put... If you have Earthcraft in play and Squirrel's Nest, and you put the same, if you put Verdant Field on, oh no, it still doesn't work because you have to tap it itself. I have no idea how to make this damn thing work. Yeah, I have no idea. If anyone finds out how to break this, you know, let Will know. Will is very curious, waiting for you to break this card. Let us all know in the combo show in a few days. Okay, let's move to some super chats. Like Steven. Thank you very much, Steven. Brutal Suppression or Sunken Field or Chat to Donut. Don't worry, we're early in the show, Steve. Brutal Suppression, you got it. It's a red enchantment. Activated abilities on Rebel cards. Cost an additional sacrifice a land to play. There we go, there's the Rebel hate. So it's good versus those Rebel... I don't even know if it was good. You know, honestly, I didn't even saw this play, like, even back then. They're like, yeah, sure, I'll toss my land. What are lands for? I want to get my Lin Civvy out. The Lin Civvy, damn it! Only very few people will understand the fear of Lin Civvy. If you have infinite land on taps, it gives you infinite power as well as mana, I guess. Exactly, but how to make that work? If you have like, that's the idea. If we have infinite land on taps, Verdant Field is busted. Just absolutely busted. But how to get infinite land on taps? I was trying to figure something out with Earthcraft. Anyway, I couldn't figure it out. Have we done Avatar of Fury yet? We will now. Walking Dead 14. Forget what all the other ones do. It's a red 6 generic 6/6 avatar. If an opponent controls 7 or more lands, oh, it's conditional on different types of permanents. Avatar of Fury costs 6 less to cast, which means you're not gonna. This thing is not gonna be cheap, or very rarely. It's just a Shivan Dragon. How lame is that? It's literally just a 6/6 flyer with fire breathing. You might as well play Shivan Dragon over this damn thing. So anyway, does not pass. Not in the slightest. Next super chat, we have Pacers Fan Forever. One of my favorite board wipes, Plague Wind. Oh, this came from here. We have, they've reprinted millions of times. Black 7 generic. A lot of reprint equity, apparently, in Prophecy. Black 7 generic for sorcery. Destroy all creatures you don't control! They can't be regenerated. Oh my goodness! You don't control, so it's a one-sided board wipe. Oh, this is great. Yeah, it's busted. That thing is great. I mean, it's for, you know, Funsy Commander, but holy crap, no one's gonna have fun when that thing gets cast. Nikachu, I'm late! This morning, has anyone done Alexi? We actually did Alexi's cloak. Strangely enough, there's a million cards in this set, but we did the cloak. What happened to Barry? Destroy all. Barry meant specifically destroy and cannot be regenerated. Oh, it said it here. Oh, I guess they got rid of it at that time. Yeah, that's totally Barry. Yeah, destroy and cannot be regenerated. Yeah, that's a good question. What happened to Barry? What would they do with Barry? It was a clean keyword type. You know, we actually started moving all this weird text and calling it exile and mill and all this other stuff, but now they did the reverse. They took the keyword and then expanded it into a gigantic sentence. It was cleaner back in the day. I think they got rid of Barry. We gotta bring Barry back. If they thought it made Magic too complicated, well, I laugh at people who make that argument. They come out with new rules every set, and people always complain, Magic's, you add this one little thing, Magic's too complicated. Screw that. Okay, Richard Smith, for the small price of 9 mana to steal that early aggro. Yeah, that's right, 9 mana. Let's get Jess. Lat Tula Keldon Overseer. It's a red 3 generic 3/3 legend. What is a legendary human spell shaper? Pay a red X tap. Discard 2 cards from your hand. Well, the last time that we saw this, it was busted. Keldon Overseer deals X damage to our creature or player. That's actually not that good. I am not very impressed. You have to discard 2 cards, deal X damage. There's gotta be better cards than that, with a very similar effect. Hell, you should just not be I think it would be fine if it didn't even made you discard cards. If it was just red, X, tap, shoot something for whatever, I think that would be fine. Maybe I'm wrong. It would just break infinite mana, but infinite mana breaks a lot of things these days. You're saying Burry, but I'm hearing Bear. Yeah, do you know what I'm saying, Barry? I'm like, who's Barry? Barry's the person that buries you. Next super chat from Pacers Fan Forever. Back to back. Magenta the Lion. Repeatable board wipe. Oh, this is from See, there we go. Oh, but you have to discard 2 cards again. It's a white 3 generic 3/3. For 4 mana tap, discard 2 cards from your hand. Destroy all creatures except for the Lion. Those creatures can't be regenerated. This is a great card. See, this is a little bit more like it. Instead of X damage to 1 source, kill 1 creature, we're gonna blow up all the creatures. Oh my god. Only one person left standing, and it's the Lion. Magetta, I have no idea how would you pronounce this thing? Magita? It's like a million possibilities. Great card. Absolutely. Richard is like, I don't like it. We found the players playing a lot of creatures. We found them. Don't worry, I play a lot of creatures too. Toilet Duck, Well of Discovery. Fun thing to do, use this card like this is in a deck that has no lands. What, you're supposed to pretend? Are you cosplaying a deck with no lands? 6 mana artifact, at the end of your turn, if you control no untapped lands, draw a card. At the end of your turn, if you control no untapped... This is not bad, right? It's like a one-sided Howling Mine. At the end of your turn, if you control no untapped land, you just have to make sure you tap out every turn. This seems easy enough. So, I mean, I think the idea at the time is like, you don't want to tap all your lands every turn because you're going to take mana burn. But now there is no mana burn. There's no downside to this. Although I do have to say, there's probably better one-sided Howling. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe this is a decent one-sided Howling Mine. It's 24 cents. Get them while you can. When you have given everything, then you are capable of anything. Well inscription. Yeah, and that was a well inscription. Well inscription by well inscription. Mana Burn was great. Toads wants to bring Mana Burn back. Said only Toads and other red players. Silver Sun Games. Wall Vipers. There's a lot of snakes there, huh? Snakes on a plane, no snakes on a wall. Cool ability, cool flavor text. We have black 2 generic 2/4 wall. Just a reminder, walls can't attack. Pay 3, destroy wall of vipers and target creature it's blocking. Any player may play this ability. Okay, so like if I block something, oh, it's because it's a pretty big wall. So if I block a creature with this thing, someone else has the ability to pay 3. This card sucks. I really don't know I don't know what you see in this card. Cool ability. It's something, I guess. You like the flavor text. All right. So what wall can never be climbed but is always scaled? Ooh, I like that. That is a cool flavor text. But not enough to redeem itself. Tactically speaking, not playing this card. Mana Burn would make Arena a pain, but they also should bring it back. Allie with Whip, Stitched, Zombie. I didn't know they had zombies in this plane. Okay, we got a black 1 generic 2/2 zombie. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice Whip, Stitched zombie unless you pay a black. This seems like all but downside here. This is like Grizzly Bear with like downside. Pity the tailor, pity everything. Your upkeep, sack it unless you. I don't even know how you make this good. Oh yeah, like does anyone have cards where you want to pay? I mean, this is a cumulative upkeep. They brought it back under the guise of at the beginning of your upkeep, sack this thing unless you pay black. It's just upkeep in disguise. Jess says Mana Burn being gone makes infinite mana combos much better. Ideally, if you have infinite mana, you'll just name the amount of mana you're going to use, or you're just going to win immediately. So I mean, you'll never reach the end step. Next up, Christopher B with Glittering Lion. We have a white, really? This looks like a secret lair card or something. You know what I mean? Like it's got that sort of wild, out of character art for the time period. So we have a white 2 generic 2/2 cat. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to Glittering Lion. Pay 3. Until end of turn, Glittering Lion loses. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to Glittering Lion, but anyone can pay that ability. This is not too bad, but the fact that other people can choose its fate makes it not so good. The old art is something. Well, some old art is weird. Like this has that sort of, I don't know, it's got that secret layer feel to it. You know, it's the complete, it looks very cartoonish. It looks very Disney-like. You know, this could have been a scene in The Lion King or something. Bandit likes it. Bandit's a fan of The Lion King. Is there a reason why Mana Burn was removed after Garfield left Wizards of the Coast? It's probably not a coincidence. But from what I heard, Mana Burn was removed because it opened up more, opened up game design. So for people to go really big on mana. Because no one wanted to go big on mana. It was punishing. Super punishing. Alright, Thusa with Psychic Theft. Let's get back to the super chats. What am I doing? Psychic Theft, a blue 1 generic sorcery. Look at target player's hand. Choose an instant and sorcery card from it and remove it from the game. You may play the card as though it were in your hand as long as the card remains removed from the game. At the end of turn, if you haven't played the card, return it to its owner's hand. Oh, you got to do it immediately? That sort of blows. What's the oracle text on this? Do I have to pay mana? You choose an instant. You may cast that card for as long as it remains exiled. I got to pay the actual mana on that damn thing? You choose an instant or sorcery card. It's not saying I can cast it for free, and it's also not saying that I can cast it for any mana. So I think actually we're not stealing anything. We're just swiping something for a second and they're getting it back. You're a fan of the art here. It's got I don't know what it reminds me of. Anyway, this is really hard to play, so I think it's crap. It looks really hard to play. I don't know if you're in a Wooburg deck, maybe it's playable. Wait, you can't use any mana? Yeah, I think you have. Well, I mean, you have to cast it. Unless it says you don't pay the mana, you have. Yeah, you have to pay the mana. You have to pay. You don't. No cheapskates around here, okay? It's funny, I stole something with my mind and I have to pay for something. Unbelievable. All right, we're going to look at more wild cards from Prophecy, but if there's anything that piques your interest, you know where to get them from. You get them from FusionGamingOnline.com, today's sponsor. Same as every other day, which is wonderful. Very consistent sponsor. Deal of the week this week, save up to 20% off. Oh, no, I think there's a new deal of the week, because the deal of the week changes every week. 20% off heavily played damage singles. So, you know, there's already a big discount on this super damage stuff. You get an extra 20% off when you get that damage stuff. So there's already a big discount on something that's already discounted. Don't forget to use coupon code Nikachu to get an extra 5% off all your purchases. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place for renting Magic cards online to be able to play any deck, any format you want. Playing Vintage right now. I was playing, you know what the deal is? I was playing a lot of Vintage Cube online. I was like, come on, Black Lotus. Come on, Mox Sapphire. And like, come on, blue cards. Send them my way. And if it didn't happen, I'm like, why am I playing? I could just actually play Vintage with Mana Traders. Just rent all the Moxen, rent all the cards that I need, and then I will definitely play the Moxen deck that I've always wanted to play in the first place in the Vintage Cube. And you can play Vintage with me by using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 10% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu_XQJ. That's a hell of a format, Vintage. Complete crapshoot format. Alright, let's get back to some beautiful... Yeah, I want heavily damaged cards commander deck theme. Sleeve, you know, we also call that in the biz sleeve playable. Sleeve playable. That's how bad it is, but still sleeve playable. Okay, let's get... Did we do Sunken Field, Steven? I don't think we have. Let's do Sunken Field. Oh, this is not the art I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like, I don't know, a collapsed plains or something. It's a blue 1 generic. Enchant land. Enchant land has tap, counter target spell unless its controller pays 1. What a weird daze. I could see it having application though. It's not a great card, but it's not a bad card either. Like, it's another Rhystic Study on the board. But you know how people don't like to pay for Rhystic Study? Well, they're not going to pay for the Sunken Field either. This gets a little bit of a pass from me. Okay, Termis, the Citadel of Pain. The opposite of Well of Discovery. Red 2 generic enchantment at the end of each player's turn. Citadel of Pain deals X damage to that player, where X is the number of untapped lands he or she controls. This would be completely stone cold useless now. I mean, okay, you'll get the counterspell player to tap out. You hate counterspells? You get cheat Citadel of Pain in play, and they will feel the pain. They either tap out to not take any damage, or they take that damage in order to play their counterspells. X the number of untapped. I guess this plus mana barbs is a weird combo, because like you either tap your lands and take damage, or you don't tap your lands and take damage. Maybe this has some potential here. We got a little, yeah, like an inverted mana barbs, and that's the thing. They work together like peanut butter and jelly. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Mana barbs deals damage for yeah, exactly. Deals damage for tapped lands. How long till we get an Atlantis legendary land? I know they don't want to print it. They don't want to give us like an Urborg for islands. It's I don't know why not. Platonic Liquid, Mirror Strike. To make overconfident EDH player cry. I love making the overconfident EDH players cry. White 3 generic instant. Target unblocked creature deals combat damage to its controller instead of to you this turn. So it's like the counter to... What is that infect creature? Blight Steel Colossus. So if someone attacks you with the Blight Steel Colossus, like, okay, no blocks. And all of a sudden, you do the old switcheroo with the Mirror Strike. And all of a sudden, they realize, oh, I'm dead. Take 11 infect to the face. Atlantis is a real place, so Wizard Coast won't do it. Oh, no, come on. We have things like the Library of Alexandria. Tons of real cards based on the real world. And soon we're going to have even more with Universes Beyond. I mean, like, we're going to probably have a Statue of Liberty card or something like that. Statue of Liberty is always in Spider-Man. They're always fighting around there. From Mario. Where's Mario's suggest? I saw something from Mario. Lesser Gargadon. Red 2 generic for a 6/4 beast. When Lesser Gargadon attacks or blocks, sacrifice a land. Hard pass. I do not... I mean, unless you need the lands in the graveyard for some reason, somehow, some way, okay. But outside of that, no. Oh, we gotta look at the prophecy picture. It's the same one. Looks like a crappier Siege Rhino, in my opinion. Okay, we got... Next super chat we got from Steve Cooper. Rhystic Study, do you pay... Oh, the actual Rhystic Study. So I don't know what we give for a sound effect for this card. I mean, we know it's busted. When it's on the battlefield. Honestly, no one really pays attention to this thing. Like, you go like, oh, turn 1 Rhystic Study pass, and then people just play all their cards right into it as if it doesn't exist. At this point, we're tired of paying for the 1. People have voted. I'm not paying for the 1. Yeah, I'm not going to pay the man. So that they can draw as many cards as they damn want. Henlo with Stone Shaker makes players sacrifice land if it is untapped, which may combo with Citadel of Pain. Oh my goodness. So we have red 2 generic 1/1 at the end of each player's turn. That player sacrifices untapped land. That's another combo with the Citadel of Pain. The Citadel of Pain going to bring the pain in more than one way. This card wouldn't be as good if everyone just paid the 1. You get a bazillion mana in Commander anyway. Depends on the deck. And also, Terminus, people don't really put enough lands in their Commander deck. Biggest mistake. It's like the #1 deck building mistake. It's like, oh, I want to fit this card. Well, I don't want to lose this card or this card or this card. You know, like competitive players, the first thing you start off with a clean mana base. You make your mana base, and then at that point, it's like untouchable. You do not touch a single damn land. You take out a land, you add a land. But Commander players are like, yeah, I got like 33 lands. I need to make room for this. Okay, I'll take out a land. I got to make room for this. I'll take out another land. And then, you know, I don't know, a few sets later, as you keep adding more cards, oh, you have like 25 land in your damn deck. And then all of a sudden, in order to get any consistency, you got to start mana weaving and stuff. I find it hilarious how Rhystic Study is pauper legal. Is it? Oh, it is pauper. You're right. It's completely pauper legal. That's bonkers. Yeah, because the very first version was a common. Yeah, true story. So obviously not as broken in 1v1, but still funny to me that you can use it if you so desire. It's playable in a lot of formats. Yeah, it just doesn't see play. It's just not really worth it overall. Yeah, #1 Commander player mistake is undervaluing lands. I love lands! I love casting my spell. Nothing wrong with that. Just make sure your lands do something. These days, lands do everything. I'd have an 80 card land deck if I could. All right, what do we got next? Arethusa with the Revitalizing Wind. Revitalizing... I don't think that's... Oh. Okay. That's how you spell it. Why can't I find this thing? Okay, hold on. Let's look up wind. How many wind cards are there? There's a lot. You said it's Revitalizing Wind? Revealing Wind? This card doesn't exist. No, it doesn't exist, Arethusa. Sorry. Oops. No good. We'll go with Someone 24C with Sheltering Prayers. Okay, we have a white enchantment. Basic lands each player controls can't be the target spells or abilities as long as that player controls 3 or fewer lands. That is so weird. It's like protects the player with very few lands in play. And almost for no reason. Like, you know what? That's fine if you just let basic lands be invincible. Just period. You don't touch my lands. But only if you have 3 or more. Can't be the target spells or abilities. It's just so strange. Anyway, I think way too narrow. Not a fan. Yeah, it only vitalizes once. Oh, it vitalizing wind. Ah, there we go. It didn't revitalize. It just vitalized once. We have a green 8 generic instant. Creatures? This is like the biggest overrun of all time. Get +7/+7 until end of turn. That's wild. Anyway, clunky though, and pretty useless. We got so many creatures that basically do the same thing. I guess it's Crater Hoof at home. You need Crater Hoof at home, you got this. When are basic lands targeted? Back then, basic lands were in danger. Oh my god, they were almost an endangered species. You had your Stone Rains, you had your Pillages, your Avalanche Rider. Hold on, did Avalanche Rider hit? Pillage doesn't hit. Come on, Avalanche Rider. Maybe this is also non-basic. No, it's destroy target land. So Stone Rain, Avalanche Rider, Strip Mine was a card back then. So a lot of people are like, don't touch my lands. You'll even see people today. They get really pissy when you touch that. We just talked about you don't put enough lands in your deck, all right? And so like when you start when you start focusing on people's lands, they get really sensitive. And they didn't like it back then either. Every single permanent was in danger back then. In some sense. Lands more than anything. As funny as that was. Abzo, Keldon Firebomber. Red 3 generic for a 3/3 soldier. When the fire bombers come into play, each player sacrifices all lands he or she controls except for 3. What the hell? Make sure they're basic lands to combo with your sheltering prayers. If there isn't enough, what is this? Famura? Left to stand on, I will still claim it for the Keld. Land destruction everywhere. I don't know, it was a weird time back then. It's like, land destruction is just a thing. Just deal with it. You know, that was just part of the game. Oh, I have no lands in play? That's magic. Honestly, it still sort of is. This is the source of the land destruction. Michelon. Michelon's a land destruction player. Imagine they brought back land destruction in standard. Well, they sort of sometimes do, but it's not aggressive. Like back then, decks were clunky, and the land destruction was like good enough at 3 and 4 mana. It's not that great these days. But yeah, maybe usually you get something back these days with the land destruction. It's not pure like the land is gone, it dies. It's more like destroy a target non-basic land. You gotta look through your deck for another land to put onto the battlefield. Still get to play Magic. Yeah, things were different back in the day. Okay, let's look at... Do we have any more super chats? No, we don't have more super chats. Freebie section! Turat! Excavation. Excavation. Blue 1 generic enchantment. Pay 1, sacrifice a land, draw a card. Any player may play this ability. This is a cool card. It's a bit symmetrical, though. Also, I mean, imagine playing this in your land destruction deck. Like, hey, you want to pay with your lands to draw some cards? Actually, this has a very similar feel to... There's this card, aggressive mining or something like that, but it also says, like, you can't play lands while it's on the battlefield. This doesn't even feel like a blue thing. It is a bit of a weird card. Sacrifice land, draw a card. Anyone can play this ability. All right, anyway, it's pretty cool. It's a little bit out there. Avatar of Woe, the name that came from the set. Chimeric Idol being suggested. Avatar of Woe must be huge fan of Prophecy. 3 mana artifact, pay 0. Tap all lands you control. Chimeric Idol becomes a 3/3 artifact creature until end of turn. This actually was a good card back then. Why? Because one of the most common ways a control player beat you down, they beat you in the face, was always the board wipe. Even by today's standards, you like empty your hand, they play Supreme Verdict, and then, you know, it always stings. All right, it never, the hurt doesn't end. Now, these days we have creature lands, and even back then they had some, like Fairy Conclave and Treetop Village, but this was an alternate way of getting around the board wipes, because you just have to tap it, like it's an artifact on their turn, so you board wipe, I don't care. And then on my turn, you could have like a million of these Chimeric Idols on the battlefield, just tap all your lands, and boom, you got creatures, and you keep going in for damage. It's all good. Do not play in a counterspell deck, because you need the mana. Welcome, Oogs. We got Avery here. Keldon Battlewagon. I don't know why I feel like this music is much more prophecy-like. Okay, 5 mana for a 0/3 trampling artifact creature. It can't block. Okay, so it's not even good as... What the hell is this good for? It can't block. It's not even good at blocking, but it doesn't have any power. When it attacks, sacrifice it at end of turn. But it's got trample. It's a 0 mana trampler. Okay, tap an untapped creature you control. It gets +X/+0 until end of turn, where X is the tap creature's power. Wow, so it's like the original crew in some way, except it seems like we're crewing the thing with the flesh of creatures. Cards that contradict each other. A 0 power trampler. That's it. And also, if this thing blows up, it should kill everything else with it. When it attack, and you only get one shot with it. Tap an untapped creature you control. It gets +X/+0, or the X is target creature's power. Does it stack? Gets +X. No, yeah, it does stack. Okay, so you can tap like a bunch of creatures, and all their power add up into this one thing. And you can do it like, you can do it in the mid of combat too. So you can attack, see if your opponent blocks, and if they don't block, you then do as much. Yeah, it looks like you can stack it because each individual tap gives the Keldon Battlewagon +X/+0. Just how it is. It's more like a battering. It is more like a battering ram. Infernal Genesis by Ali. Okay, we have a black 4 generic enchantment. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player puts the top card of his or her library into his or her graveyard. Then he or she then puts X/1/1 black minion creature tokens into play, where X is that card's converted mana cost. Everyone gets access to this? That player puts... Yeah, everyone gets access to this. Now, there might be some benefits. I can't remember. I have sometimes played against decks where they wanted to give me creatures and somehow that helped them. So this might be... It's a little clunky. It's a little bit on the chunkier side, but I could see... It's like, hey, it's better than Bitter Blossom. It's a symmetrical Bitter Blossom for everyone. But you do have to... I think you have... I have no idea how you really abuse this. Something with Sensei... Something Sensei's Divining Top. Put all the big stuff on top. Okay, Platonic Liquid. Troublesome Spirit. Blue players don't need lands. Is that what you say? Okay, blue 2 generic for a 3/4 flyer. At end of turn, tap all lands you control. What the hell is this? I don't even get any benefit out of this damn thing. It's only a 3/4 flyer. These days you could have bigger for 3 mana. Nice. I like the picture though. I think this is a cool picture. I would have liked to play this at the time. As erratic and turbulent as a Summoner Squall. Not really. It's like a Djinn or something. I think they tried to recreate some sort of genie of the era. Volunteerism with Troubled Healer. Troubled. Okay, we have white 2 generic 1/2 cleric. Sacrifice a land. Prevent the next 2 damage that would be dealt to target creature or player this turn. Sacrifice a land. Prevent the next 2. Really good in combat. Very, very good. So, like, if you have creatures just as big as your opponent's creatures, it's a bit expensive, though. But I like the ability. It's for the low, I mean, I wouldn't say it's a low cost, but you put yourself in a position to sack a land to save a creature in combat. Because you only need to prevent, like, 2 damage to prevent your creature from dying and trading with theirs. It's basically just how it is. Next super chat we have from John. Thank you so much for your generous super chat. Denying Wind. I think we did Denying Wind. Jester's Cap, super bad. Oh, we didn't do Denying Wind. Okay, we have a blue 7 generic. Search target player's library for up to 7 cards. Remove from the game. Then that player shuffles his or her library. Back then, I think 7 cards was basically all of player's combo pieces. That was enough to just win the game by itself. Oh my god, 9 mana though? 7 cards. It's like fine. I think it's a bit expensive for what it does, but if you draw this late game versus the player at the table who's like very obviously a combo deck, you'll just wipe out their deck and like basically they have no chance of winning from there. And also they'll be pissed at you. They probably won't invite you next time. Greel, is that a real card? From Christopher B. Greel, Mindraker, the black 3 generic 3/3. Also the Spell Shaper. Pay X, tap. Sorry, X. Blacken an X, tap. Discard 2 cards from your hand. Target player discards X cards at random, so you mind twist them. Oh, people are not going to be happy about that. I think it's crap, though. I'm not a huge fan of the mind twist mechanic. I know everyone says mind twist is broken. I disagree. And especially once you pay this for 5. Like, the moment you have this on the battlefield, everyone's going to be like, okay, gotta empty my hand. Let's get out of here. It's not even going to be versus the, what's it called? It's not even going to be very good versus the counterspell decks because it'll just counter this thing when it comes out. Your super chat? I did your super chat. And you have a Jester's Cap. You want to combo the Denying Wind with Jester's Cap. I don't know what or it's Super Jester's Cap? We got you, John. We got you. I always get to my super chatters. They'll be pissed at you. When has that ever stopped blue players from doing blue things? Never! Has never stopped them. Never will. Bean Pot. With Munga Worm. The Munga Worm. Green 2 generic for a 6/5. You can't untap more than 1 land during your untap step. Why? Why would I do this to myself? Cities have crumbled under its weight. Yeah. This is the whole format is about paying like mana for everything. You gotta pay mana for what they do. You gotta pay mana for what you do. You basically win. What is this? Winter Orb? Can't untap more than 1 land during your untap step. You Winter Orb yourself for no damn reason. Yeah, exactly. At least you could pay the 1. That's the only thing that you could pay. For the low cost of a 6/5 creature for 4 mana. It's not even exciting by today's standards. Anyway, it's funny to look at, though. That's for sure. Paying the 1 keeps you tapped. It will for the rest of eternity. I'm a big fan of uncounterable green creatures. Counter this. It's not even uncounterable. Munga Worm and Beamtown Bullies. Oh yeah. Yeah. Remember, every bad card going to the bin is is like every trash card going to the bin is treasure to the Beamtown Bullies deck. Okay, Turat with Outbreak. Black 3 generic sorcery may discard a swamp from your hand instead of paying Outbreak's mana cost. Choose a creature type. All creatures of the chosen type get -1/-1 until end of turn. Oh my goodness! I am very unhappy about seeing this card. The Plague chooses its victims. It's actually quite good because it is basically a one-sided board wipe. You know, if your opponents have all humans or something, you just name human. You just name a creature type that you don't have. 1 toughness is still like a really popular. You can also hit a bunch of tokens at the same time, so Outbreak does work pretty well. Where do you think mung beans come from? I don't know. Commander, but build your opponent's deck and they build yours and you play with the deck your opponent built. Oh my goodness. You second Squirrel Wrangler. Oh, Allie's Squirrel. Did they had squirrels in this set? The Squirrel Wrangler. Doesn't look like he's wrangling anything. Okay, we have a... Oh no, Wrangler means like you possess them or something. You control. The green 2 generic 2/2 druid. Pay a green 1 generic, sack a land. Put 2 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens into play. You can also pay a green and 1 sack a land. All squirrels get +1/+1 until end of turn. That's pretty much like the best lord that they had, I think, at the time. Outside of... No, they had... Sorry, they had Hermit Druid. But there weren't many lords. We want squirrels. We want the squirrel show. Everyone keeps giving credit to Iris. All right, Iris gets the credit. Is Iris around here? We got to give a shout out to Iris. Can't find her. She'll be back. The squirrels don't look very wrangled. I know! Exactly, that's how I looked at it. Squirrels were popular back then. They still are. Where's the squirrel? I mean, I guess Modern Horizons 2 was like basically the unofficial squirrel set. They gave a lot of squirrels where there were like no squirrels for a very long time. And they all made them 1/1 creatures. Or like a lot of them 1/1 creatures. Deranged Hermit was in Legacy, but it was also in Standard at the time. It was in the same block as this set. You could combo it together. The Urza, it was in the same Standard set. The Urza block with the Masks block together. You can have you have your own squirrel set. There you go, Iris. You're a fan of the squirrels. My mother is not a fan of the squirrels. The squirrels eat all her lawn furniture, and she gets very upset by that. Next card, let's look at... Is anyone suggesting cards anymore? Okay, we got Rib Cage Spider. From Cute Spider is funny because it was already a straight downgrade to Alpha's Giant Spider. Oh, really? So it's... we went from a 2/4 with reach, to a 1/4. As if 2/4 was too strong at the time. Unbelievable. I think we did... Didn't we not do Blessed Wind? Am I wrong here? Oh, we didn't do Blessed Wind. Was that this? Oh, we did Denying Wind. We did Denying Wind. Okay, Blessed Wind. White, 7 generic. Target player life total becomes 20. So that could be one of two things. Either you gained... there's two ways of looking at it. You either gained a bunch of life, or you lost all your life except 20. It's only one of two. So use it as life gain. Use it as a very expensive but highly effective damage spell. Did we hit Bedrock yet? I have no idea what that is. There's so many cards in every set, we can never get through all of them. Bedrock? You mean Bedeck? No. Bedrock does not exist. Oh, the old spider costs 4 mana? Oh, maybe that's true. Giant Spider was 4 mana for a 2/4. So for that 1 whole extra mana, you have a 2/4. This is spider aggro right here. They're bringing the curve down on the spiders. They're bringing the curve down. Beam Pots with Flame Shot. How do I shot flame? Red 3 generic sorcery. You may discard a mountain from your hand instead of paying the mana cost. Deals 3 damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures. Actually, could be... That's like... Actually, you know what? This is very close to Fury. It's just not a creature. Oh my god, it's Fury. A danger.
No! God, please, no!
For some reason, I thought Giant Spider was 3 mana. You know what? You had me fooled, too. I was convinced. To be honest, I'm not the Spider Master, so I don't know what's, like, broken or not. Did we do Rhystic Tutor? Nope, I don't think so. Does it mean you can tutor for something unless someone pays the 1? Okay, black 2 generic. Unless any player pays 2, search your library for a card, put that card into your hand, then shuffle your library. I think this card's insane. This card, I mean, I don't know if it's broken, but, like, I mean, 2 thumbs up for Rhystic Tutor. It's a 3 mana, look for any card in your deck and put it directly into your hand. It's hard to get those types of effects, and very likely, hey, People like to spend their mana like they spend their money. They tap out. They tap out all the time. They're not even paying for Rhystic stuff. You think they're going to pay for your Rhystic tutor? Noxious Field. It's Christopher B's day. Just spitting out these suggestions. We have a black 1 generic enchant land. Enchant land has tap. This land deals 1 damage to each creature and each player. That's actually not bad. Perpetual 1 damage to each creature. Like, I can't remember what the card is. It's like a red card with overload. It deals 1 damage to everything. And that's basically it. Over and over and over again. I like it. So, yeah, I mean, so what do we sum up this set? I mean, this is a set that is like... It's full of such jank cards at the time, but actually is so good in multiplayer. Like, there are so many little golden gems between the Rhystic Tutor, that card where you put a creature in play, you have to bounce a land back to your hand, which is going to screw over the other players and their mana development, but also helps your landfall. So anyway, it's a very cute little set you have here at Prophecy, a little golden gem of the past. And that's it for Coffee and MTG. Thank you very much for being here with me today. And if you want to be here, the part of the rest of the Coffee crew, you got to be here Monday to Friday, 11 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks to everyone who supports the channel. You're either a patron on Patreon, a member on YouTube, or you super chat to be part of the show. And it's all very, very exciting because everybody here helps contribute to the show. People like Toad, Silver Gun, we got Abzo, Cute Spider Mario, Jess, Christopher B, Iris, Steve, Platonic Liquid, Beanpot, Ali, Volunteerism, Emerald, Avatar of Woe. We got Christopher, Mr. Deadhead, Someone24C, because as usual. Oh, Das Demons, Michelin, Jess. So without all you guys, I'd have no show. So, as usual, my coffee crew, keep brewing up them coffees, and we'll keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you at the next cup.